So let's get our MySQL container sorted. We are going to use image for MySQL server. This is official repository. We're going to build our server on version 5.7. So we're going to start with Dockerfile. So let's go back to our code editor. In our Docker directory, we're going to create a new one called MySql. And inside, we're going to create new Dockerfile. And in our Docker file, we're going to tell to build from MySql server, and we can specify the version, and we want 5.7.22. Let's go back quickly to our Docker Compose. So in our Docker Compose, we need to define a new service. We're gonna call MySqL. We need to have build, and in our build we need to specify context, which is going to be Docker MySqL. We can specify image name, so we're gonna do that, image, and in single quotes we're gonna say MySqL 5.7. Next we need container name, and we're just gonna copy and paste what we already have. So this will keep our project name on the front of the container name, so we're gonna do MySqL. Now we need some environment variables. So when we build MySqL container, we can pass some variables to configure the server, and those are as follow. So we can have MySqL user, we can have MySqL password, MySqL database. This will create a default database with the specified name, and MySqL root password. But again, I don't want to have these values hard-coded, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna specify them, define them in our .env. So let's just do that. So for our user, we're gonna use admin. For our password, we use admin as well. Our database, let's call it my project. And for our root password, let's just do root. So now in our Docker Compose, we can specify these variables. We can pass them to our environment variables by pulling them from our .env. So we're gonna do just that. Okay, this gives us single file configuration, so every time you want to create your development environment, you just need to jump into your .env, specify some variables, and you're ready to go. Finally, we need ports, and MySqL as default run on port 3306, and we're gonna expose this to 06. Sorry. Okay, so we're done. So now we can quickly jump into our terminal, and let's try to build this container. So we're gonna do docker compose app-d, and this will pull the image, will create our container, and it will boot up our container. Okay, so we should be done. Let's just list our running containers with docker ps, and all is good. And here we've got docker.php. Okay, so let's quickly go back to our Docker Compose. So here, as you can see, we specify image, but because we build from the context and from our Docker file, in this instance we just replace the name of the image, and we can do exactly the same for our PHP. So we can say image and specify the name in single quotes, and we're gonna do PHP Alpine to keep it consistent. And let's just quickly recreate our containers. And let's see if this change took effect, and as you can see, it did. Okay, the last bit I actually forgot. We need to link our MySql service in our Nginx so we can access it. So we're gonna do MySql, and let's quickly do it again. Let's quickly recreate our containers, and I don't think it happened, so let's just pass to additional flag, build and force recreate. That will make sure that our containers are actually recreated from scratch. So now in our code base we can check if our database is working correctly. So let's go back to our code base and let's create another file called db.php, and inside here let's just open PHP brackets, and let's just try to establish connection to our database. So for the host, because we've got linked service, we can just say MySql, name of the service. This will work just fine. For the user, we specify admin in our .env, same for the password. And for our database, my project. So let's save that and let's go quickly to the browser. So now if we visit db.php, as you can see, everything is working fine. Proper connection to MySql was made, so everything is working just fine. As a final bit, let's open SQL Pro and see if we can connect with desktop application. So for our host, it's going to be 127.0.01 localhost. Our user is admin, our password is admin, and our database is my project. And test connection, looks like it's working. We are connected. Let's create the test table, and we are done.